Hey, NEMT fam, welcome back to my platform here. I am that NEMT girl. Thank you for joining me. I truly appreciate it. So we have a special guest, and I am really, really excited about this one. This is Nirav. He is one of the founders of Bambi. And if you don't know what Bambi is, I'm so glad you tuned in because he's going to tell you all about it. Nirav, do you want to introduce yourself and introduce your company and your background?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think you will want to.
Howdy, I'm Nirav. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bambi. We are the NEMT software that everyone deserves. So we started the company 1.5, almost 2 years ago, me and my co-founder Charles, and we said, hey, there's this thing called NEMT. It needs good software. NEMT providers need good software, and it doesn't exist yet. So let's make it. Let's make a software that's really simple and easy to use, especially for non-tech savvy people. And let's make features and scheduling systems and things that actually work and work well and are easy to use. And let's provide customer support and service that's really awesome and really responsive. And let's just make everything simple about Bambi. Let's make our pricing simple. Let's make our product simple. Let's make people love us. And we're going to take over the entire NEMT industry really fast. We're a team of 10 people now, all Americans in America. We come from Silicon Valley tech companies. All of our software engineers are full-time employees from Silicon Valley companies. They all own part of the company, and we're all just here to kick ass and make NEMT way better.
Listen, I love it. And I want to hone in on a few things that you said just now, because just from a business standpoint and the setup of you all's business, the fact that you all have allowed everyone else to come on and actually have ownership in the company, that's big. And just how me and you connected, for everyone watching and listening, it was very organic. Nirav reached out. He has his own platform for NEMT podcast, and he actually interviewed me. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'm a little nervous. All right. But it was so smooth. Like, it was so organic. He's very personable. And that also translates to what you said in terms of your customer service and things being easy, because if you know NEMT, we are busy every day, right? And so having that frustration of something as tedious of not knowing how to do how to work the software, or not having someone to reach out to walk you through different steps. And I've heard very good feedback from you all's customer service that you all have in terms of someone sending an email and thinking they're not going to get a response to the next day because it's late, and you're like, okay, well, I'll give a call now. That's very big for owners, because we don't have conventional sleeping patterns all the time. So we may, shoot an email at midnight, and to just be able to have our questions answered, that's big. So I'm thankful that you all have that. Also, too, the interface of you all's platform is user friendly. I've seen it myself, and I said, okay, this is something that, someone could come in maybe on day 1 or 2, and as long as they know how to work a computer, they can figure it out. So that's really big. I want to touch on some things, because you definitely let us know that you all have some big things coming, right? So coming into the industry and seeing the gaps and the lack thereof for the tech support that we need as providers, what is the main thing that Bambi is focused on for the future in terms of expansion? And how do you all really want to dominate in this industry? Because you all can definitely take over. So let's talk about that.
All right. So when we started out, we don't come from an NEMT background. We don't come from transportation or healthcare. But we were passionate about building a company and transforming this industry. So when we started out, we just started talking with NEMT owners across the country, hundreds of NEMT owners, and said, hey, what do you all like about your current software? What do you not like about it? What do you want to see in a new software? And we just got tons of input from all sorts of NEMT business owners from different states, different fleet sizes, different ways of operating. Like, how do you want the software to work? And we invested a ton in making it designed so that it's flexible and it's easy to use and it handles like the range of use cases. And we even got NEMTAC advisory board members to come and be advisors of our company and continue giving input into, even the president of NEMTAC is an advisor to our company. So we have just been learning from everyone who's been in the industry, in and out, all sides of it, about how do we make this the best darn software that exists. So at this point, we have tons of customers across the country, ranging from one vehicle to a few vehicles to 25 plus vehicles, and we're onboarding some 50 plus vehicle companies soon. It works great for everyone. So what are we going to be up to soon? Like, what's our expansion? Just continuing to listen to what customers want and making the thing more robust, but driven by what experienced fleet owners are saying. This is the way things should be done. This is how to make it easier. This is how to make it more robust. We just take it directly from people who are gonna be the users.
Nice. And I want to go back as well, because you work with a range of fleet sizes, right? And so within my group, we have a mixture. We have seasoned NEMT providers. We have people who are considering joining the industry. And so they always want to know what the overhead is going to be for their industry, for their business, right? And so with you all working with a range of sizes, let's speak more in terms of the price point for someone who may only have one vehicle or two vehicles, right? They don't have a fleet of 10, 50 vehicles, right? So how is that user friendly for those people?
Yeah, so like the price of Bambi?
Yes, for like in terms of if they're coming in 1, 2 vehicles, yep, and they say, okay, I don't really have the time to do paperwork, but I don't know if I can afford you all service. How can they use you? Are you all affordable for them?
I love answering this question because it's super simple. Bambi is per month, $69 a vehicle. That's it. That's all. Cost of a pair of shoes. And there's no other charges for anything. You go to some of these other software companies, you think, oh, okay, they're going to charge the onboarding fee, then the customer service fee, and they want to use this feature as another fee. Nothing. Only $69 a vehicle per month. That's it.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Have you all, I want you all to make sure you're listening to this, okay? Nirav said $69 per vehicle, okay? So if you are coming into this industry and you are starting with one vehicle, you saved up your money and you're going to build from there, you're going to expand from that one vehicle. And you may be driving yourself, right? But you still have to have some type of reports to go out, some type of audit to track your clients that you're picking up and dropping off. You're not going to be able to write that type of stuff down. You need that software, right? So that is great to know, Nirav, because people always want to know, well, okay, it sounds good. Well, how much is it? And so, that's a good price point. I really think that's a great price point. So I'm glad you spoke to that. Now you all's growth has been pretty solid. You operate with a team of 10. Wow. Because you are growing, you're expanding in this industry, and everyone has ownership in the business, which is great because that keeps people on. It makes them want to go hard. They own this as well. This is my baby as well. I'm not just working for this company. So I think that's great as well. Now, in terms of the customer service and the team management of all of that, what do you think is your strongest asset or principle that drives the team to go? Aside from having ownership, what is the strongest driving factor of the team?
So every single one of our employees, they left high-paying jobs. Like 8 members of our team are software engineers from Silicon Valley companies. And they decided, hey, we're going to join this startup.
That itself is big,
It is big.
Tech Valley companies are not small companies, so that's big. That's huge.
It's huge. And we pay them huge because they're worth it. But they still took a pay cut And they're joining this crazy mission called Bambi because they believe in what we're doing. They believe that medical transportation should be easier and better and more accessible. And NEMT business owners should have an easier time doing their jobs. And we all believe that we can really change this industry for the better and help a lot of people who need help. So that's what drives us. Like, that's what drives us listening to customers and saying, hey, oh, is something not working for you? You want a feature this way? We'll actually listen to our customers and do things based on that. Customers doesn't know how to do this or that. We will answer a phone call, Taya, at any time of any day. We will answer emails at any time of any day. Like, talk to any one of our customers. They love us. And that's our goal. That's what drives us. We want every one of our customers not to like us, to love us.
Yes, that's key. That is key. And you spoke on something. You mentioned features, right? So let's jump into that, because all of these different routing softwares and platforms, they all have different features. What do you think is the key feature that makes Bambi stand out and is allowed to be integrated into the NEMT field?
Oh, that's a tough one, because like
I know it's a very complex one. I'm sorry.
it's like choosing which of your children is your favorite.
Right? Although they say people don't have favorites, but they have favorites. The parents lie. They definitely have favorites. So it comes out how they treat the kids, right? So, but that's for another day. But yes, so I understand, different features and you have your favorites. But just name your top two. Just name your top two features that you feel like your most standout.
Okay. Number one is the calendar dispatch view. Like, it's so simple and easy to see all your vehicles and drivers in a column over the course of a day and see the trips as blocks and see, hey, here's what trips are happening now. And here's where I have white space where my driver isn't doing anything. I could fit in another trip. It's just such an important visual to have. I don't know why other softwares don't do it, but everyone just loves our calendar view, whether they're one vehicle or 25 plus vehicles. The second feature I would say is our killer feature is, so you'll hear other companies say something like route optimization or schedule optimization, but none of them actually have it. Like, you talk to NEMT business owners who use those softwares, they'll tell you, yeah, we don't even use those features because they don't work properly. And that's what we were told when we got in this industry. And our advisors told us, hey, if you build a schedule optimization that's works really well and is easy to use, then you'll have the one thing that nobody else has. So that's what we built in as one of our first things. We put all of our team's brain power into making that run Bambi run, is what we call it. You've got 50 trips tomorrow. You've got, 7 vehicles on the road. You click run Bambi run, and it's going to figure out two things. Number one, how do I place the most number of trips onto the fleet schedule? And number two, how do I minimize the total amount of unloaded miles driven by the fleet? All you got to do is click run Bambi run. All 50 of those trips are going to be placed onto those 7 vehicle schedules optimally. And our customers, we talk to them and they're like, oh my God, this has shaved hours off of our daily operations.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, I can see the calendar view, honestly, because you may have things presented to you in one format, right? But the visual of seeing, okay, well, I have a large gap right here. We got to fill this in some type of way. Let's reach out to see, does a private pay client need to get somewhere pretty soon? Can we reach out to our brokers and see, if they have some same day trips or some trips that got sent back? So that's good. I really love that feature as well.
Hey, Taya, you want to see it?
Why not?
Let's do this. I'm ready.
Why
I came
not?
prepared. All right.
I love it.
All right. So this is a demo account. This is a fleet that's running 6 vehicles today, for example. So you see the driver is Charles. The vehicle up here is Combo. this driver is me, I'm driving big ambi, and so on and so forth. And on the left side here, you got all these unassigned trips that need to get onto the fleet schedule. So normally what I would do is I would take this trip and say, okay, I'm going to manually assign it to, I don't know, let's say I'm going to assign it to Max. But that takes too long, right? To do it for all those trips. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to select all these trips, and there's our magic button down there. You see it? Run, Bambi, run.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click that. And now our scheduling algorithms are working their magic in the back end and doing those two things that I mentioned. Number one, figuring out how to fit the most number of trips onto the fleet schedule. And number two, doing it in a way that minimizes the total distance driven by the fleet. And it's taking into account the pickup and drop-off locations, even traffic patterns, historical traffic patterns, the needs of the passenger, the capacities of the vehicle, the skills of the driver. And it's taking all that into consideration. And what it's going to do is it's going to spit out a suggestion right here. And it's going to say, hey, here's what we think is best. Now you're going to notice that there's dark blue trips, and that's new assignments. That's saying, hey, this trip was not assigned. Here's where it should go. But Taya, you see how these two are dark purple?
Yeah.
So that's reassignments. It's shuffling trips around and saying, hey, this trip used to be on Max, but I'm going to put it onto Nirav because that's what's optimal. And this trip used to be on Nirav, but I'm going to put it onto Ben because that's what's optimal. So with that, I'm going to say, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to click apply. And now the schedule is set.
Took you
and
less
only
than 5
one
minutes.
trip was not assigned up here. And, you know, Bambi will have a reason for that, right? It's saying, hey, there's no optimal way to place this onto the fleet's schedule. I can go and override that by manually assigning it to someone, but I'm going to leave this as is for now. And this is the calendar view. And the cool thing is, you see how these trips are blue? That just means that they're assigned, right? The purple ones are will calls, by the way. I won't get into the details, but these colors are going to change as the day goes on. So if the driver is currently doing this trip, it's going to turn green. If the driver finished that trip, it'll be grayed out. So as a dispatcher, you look at this and in real time, you know what's going on because that driver mobile app is syncing with this calendar dispatch app in real time.
Love it. Love it. It just makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense. It's great. So yeah, I definitely could see how those could be your favorite top two. Again, I know you all have a plethora of others, but we're gonna pick the top two, and I love those top two. Now, I want to jump into this before I get to my last few questions, but with AI being so much of a conversation starter right now, how do you foresee it maybe being integrated with Bambi, or, you know, how do you foresee it just in general coming into the NEMT industry? Because it's already here, no? So how do you see it just taking off?
So what I actually showed you was AI. Those optimization algorithms figuring out how to assign and reassign trips, that's AI right there in action.
Right there.
Yeah. And we're proud of it because nobody has anything that works even nearly as well as that. And nobody has features that reassign and shuffle around trips in real time. You get a new trip, you get called in, hey, day of, hey, this trip, that trip, can you fit it in? Just hit run, Bambi, run, and trips will get shuffled around and Bambi will see if it can fit in those trips anywhere. And that's the next level of NEMT scheduling and dispatching. It's already here, and we're only going to be making it better and better.
Love it. I love it. All right. So my next question, which is pretty much becoming my last question, I believe. But for anyone that is considering, you know, oh my, I want to get into NEMT tech, what type of advice would you give them, and what type of research do they need to prepare themselves for?
When you say get into NEMT tech, like get into NEMT as like a business owner and operator?
Well, no, getting to more of the tech side, because you mentioned in the beginning, you know, this NEMT field here, we didn't have a lot of tech software. It wasn't as prevalent 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you know. And even some providers, I'm pretty sure that you have demo calls with, they're still operating with paper, you know, so, or Google Calendar or Microsoft Calendar or whatever, right? So understanding what it takes to build Bambi and what it takes to have that commitment, even if you don't have that background in the medical field or in transportation field, what kind of advice can you give someone who's interested into coming into that field?
Talk with a lot of people who are going to be your users of that software. That's my number one advice. Like, you want to build software for whether it be any MT or any industry, like, you got to be boots on the ground, like in the field, in the operations with them, seeing how they do things. Because, you know, you can sit in your little silo in your little room and say, oh, I think this is how they'll do things. I'm going to make software like this. And I'm going to, but until you're there on the ground, in the vehicles with them, in the dispatch center, living, breathing it, that's when you'll really know, okay, this is how I need to make software. This is how it needs to work for people who are doing these kinds of workflows. And that's why we have all of our Bambi team have been at NEMT companies. They have been in vehicles with drivers transporting patients, done ride-alongs, like all of us, because you got to see it in action before you build something that supports it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. There's no way I could go and tell someone how to start their NEMT business and the trials and tribulations they may come up with if I haven't experienced it myself, you know. So absolutely, Nirav. I thank you for that. And I think those are all my questions. I think you gave us some really good feedback. And I want to know, is there something that I didn't touch on that you would like to let the people know?
Yeah, just one thing. Run, Bambi, run.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, everyone, Nirav is as personable as you see him on this video here, is as personable as he's going to get. And so if you are inquisitive and you have some inquiries about Bambi specifically, he is not hard to find. Nirav, let them know how they can reach you.
Hibambi.com. That's HIBAMBI.com. Just fill out our contact form. We get back to you just like that.
Love it. Love it. And they also have client testimonials on YouTube as well. So you can just type in Bambi. Also, Nirav has his podcast where he has other NEMT providers and other NEMT orgs within the industry on his platform, and they talk about all different topics. So definitely make sure you check that out. He's doing some great things with putting out some media out there as well, as we both are. So make sure you check out any videos that you have not reached on my page just yet. Just scroll down the playlist and click whichever one you want to find. And I truly appreciate everyone for tuning in. Until next time.